If you're looking for a job in Italy, this is the video for you. Ciao a tutti, benvenuti sul mio canale. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel and also welcome back. So in today's video, we are talking about working in Italy. We're going to talk about how to do it legally, what I do in this country, the traditional way of job hunting, and what I think is the best way to work in this country. But we'll get into that towards the end of the video, so make sure you stick around. So let's get right into it. Iniziamo. The very first thing that I want to mention, and what I think is the most important, is the Italian language. In my opinion, you simply need to learn the language to work here, live here, just to exist, really. Is it possible to find work in Italy without speaking the Italian language? Yes, it is possible, but it really does limit your options. Let's put it another way. The better your Italian is, the better your earning potential is. Next, let's talk about working here legally. I was rather fortunate. I had Italian ancestors, and therefore I was able to inherit my Italian citizenship from my great-grandfather. So this is how I'm able to work legally here in Italy. Hands down, one of the best decisions that I've ever made in my life. Now, if you yourself are of Italian descent and you're looking to get Italian citizenship to work here legally, I really recommend it because this will save you a lot of headaches. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but let's put it to you this way. The greater the pain, the greater the reward. Don't forget, Italy is a member of the European Union. So if you happen to hold EU citizenship with another country, then legally you have the right to live and work here indefinitely. Now, if you happen to have parents or even grandparents who were citizens of European countries, then you might want to look into getting your European passport. This is called jus sanguinis, which is what I did. But do check each country's guidelines very carefully. Now, if you have no European ancestry, but you want to live and work in Italy, then the next thing that you need to look into getting is the Permesso di Soggiorno. In its basic sense, it is a document which will allow you to live and work here in Italy legally. I've never had one, will never need one, so I'm not 100% sure exactly what it entails. However, I have worked, and I also do work with people that have had the Permesso di Soggiorno, so in theory it is possible. By the way, if you are looking for more information on how to get the Permesso di Soggiorno, go to the description of this video, and I've included another video which you should find useful. The next thing that you're going to need is the Codice Fiscale, which is pretty much equivalent to the American Social Security number. And this you can get from the Agenzia delle Entrate. Before we go any further, there's something rather important that I must say. Now, I don't want to be pessimistic, but the reality of working and finding work in Italy is that it's difficult. So I can guarantee you that this is probably not going to be very easy. But not to worry, I would not be making this video if I didn't have some good advice to give you, so hang in there. Now, if you want, you can do what I did and what I still do today. I'm an English teacher. I realize that this job might not be for everybody because you do need a lot of patience to be a teacher, and just because you can speak a language doesn't mean that you can necessarily teach it, which I found out the hard way. But if you are a native English speaker and you are looking for a job just to kind of get your foot in the door before you find something else, then teaching English might be a very good idea. Now, it really does depend where you work and on what kind of contract you have, but more or less, I would say that a teacher's salary is pretty much adequate if you want to live here, pay rent, buy food, go out, and just have a decent life here. But like any job, there are pros and cons. I think if you want long-term stability, the best thing you should do is to do a public exam and to work in the public schools. I tried that a little bit myself, and it was rather stressful, so that really depends on the individual. I think one of the biggest downsides to teaching in the English schools or even the public schools is that your salary is always capped. You really can't hope to get rich, so to speak, just by teaching English in this country. I think the only way to really make a substantial living teaching English in this country is, one, open up your own school. In other words, be an entrepreneur. And in this case, your earning potential really has no limit, so to speak. Or you could try going it alone. In other words, get a bunch of private students, and then if you're good, what they'll do is they'll talk about you, word of mouth pretty much, and then if you're lucky, then you may have more than enough students at your disposal. But that depends if you're good, though. A way to get your foot in the door. Well, some days I feel like mine needs to be amputated. Next, let's talk about the traditional way to find a job in Italy. Right off the bat, I can tell you that you're going to need a lot of patience, and that's the same in the United States if you think about it. You're also going to need to approach job hunting like a full-time job in and of itself. You need to spend all your time looking at companies, researching companies, preparing your resume, preparing the cover letter. Obviously, it's a little bit different if you are looking to start small. Maybe you want to work in a coffee shop or a clothing store. But even there, you still need to spend time to go to stores, apply, and just spread your CV around. CV. What the hell is a CV? It's the European version of a resume. The best place to start, and this is where I made my CV, is a website called Europass.com. Link in the description. The Italian CV is a little bit different than other European countries, most notably for the fact that on some Italian CVs, I have seen somebody's picture, their nationality, and their date of birth. If it's possible, ask beforehand if all this information is necessary. Personally, I've never understood the logic in putting somebody's picture on a resume because I don't see why somebody's physical appearance should determine whether or not they get the job or not. Obviously, if you're applying to be a model, then I guess it might be necessary. Okay. Somebody left me a comment a while ago and they asked me, what would I do if I had to start over here in Italy? Here's what I would do. Would I look for an English teaching job if I had to move here again? I think I would, actually. I would, but I think I would continue to look for something else. Also, I would only look for a teaching job if I had nothing lined up before coming to this country. Now, if I had a good job back in the United States, the first thing that I would do is see if they had any branches out here in Italy, and then maybe see if I could get transferred abroad. If that wasn't a possibility, then the next thing that I would do is maybe target international companies. For example, here in Rome, there are Amazon and Microsoft offices. So I might target them if I had the right skills. The next thing that I would do is I would go to a website called federalgovernmentjobs.us. The name is pretty self-explanatory. You work for the U.S. government, but you're doing it in Italy. And there's all kinds of different jobs. I've seen jobs for cooks. I've seen ones for technicians. So the skills are all across the board. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention in regards to getting transferred abroad, if that's not a possibility, then see if your job will allow you to work remotely. This way you're location free and you can potentially do your American job here in Italy, if they're forgiving of time zones. With that said, I think the pandemic has taught us that it is very possible to work online. So read the details and see if you could possibly do this job from abroad. You never know. The next thing that I might do is go to an Italian job search engine, and what I would do is type in the word inglese or English and just see what jobs pop up, because you'll see a lot of jobs that require English. I don't know if they are forgiving of people that speak little to no Italian, but I would still take a look anyway. And now for the best method, and I briefly mentioned this a couple of seconds ago, but the idea is working online. The other day I was talking to a friend of mine who's also from Connecticut. She lives here in Italy now with her husband and daughter, and she's having a hard time finding a job. So we were talking about this. We both came to the conclusion that you need to almost create a job for yourself. In other words, think outside the box. Here's what I suggest. If you have specific skills which you can't utilize in this country, or if you can't get a job because your Italian isn't good enough, then what I suggest you do is find a way to use the internet to reach people. You can either teach them what you know, or you can sell products and services. How do you do these things? Well, one place that you could look is Upwork.com. I've used it before myself in the past, and it's a great place if you want to have somebody do a job for you. Well, you can become that person that does the job. Other possibilities are maybe doing a podcast. You can also start a blog, and on the blog you can put affiliate links. So here's another idea for you. I have a friend that does therapy sessions online, and he's finally starting to realize the potential that the internet has, the reach that it has. He specializes in people that have bipolar disorder, depression, and a multitude of other things. If you're interested, you can contact him in the description of this video below. And now the elephant in the room, the thing that you're watching right now, YouTube. I absolutely love this platform, and I have studied YouTube for a number of years now, and the potential that this platform has is amazing. Granted, it does take a long time to get used to talking into a camera, to redoing a clip numerous times, and to get used to the sound of your own voice. But at the end of the day, I think it's worth it, totally. You also don't need to even show your face. I've seen plenty of YouTube channels where it's just somebody talking, or maybe they're cartoon animated. YouTube is a marathon, not a sprint, meaning that you need to put in the time and the effort, and if you are consistent, and if you continually try to make your channel better, then eventually you will see results. I'm still getting there. I have a lot to learn myself. Now, if you are serious about starting a YouTube channel, then go to the description of this video, and I have included the links of various channels that have helped me throughout the years, and I'm pretty sure they can help you too. For this basic expression, this is assuming that you are talking to somebody face to face, and you simply want to know if they are hiring. And you would say it in this way: State assumendo in questo periodo? So here's what I hope you take away from this video. Just realize that it is not easy to find a job in Italy, but as I have illustrated today, it is certainly not impossible, and the most important thing that I want you to remember is that you have options out there. The biggest one is the internet. There's definitely a learning curve to it, but if you can find your right niche, and if you can find the right outlet to enter that niche, then I think that this could be the difference between night and day if you want to work in this country. Now, whether you decide to get a job via the traditional route that I mentioned or my suggestion of getting something on the internet, unfortunately, I can't guarantee success. I'd like to, but that's impossible. This depends on many factors. Your education, your background, what you're willing to do. All right, comment time. Now I want to hear from you. So what is your biggest takeaway from this video? Also, have you worked in this country? Do you work in this country? And what advice would you give to somebody if they're looking to work in Italy? Make sure you drop me a mi piace if you enjoyed today's video. And also, if you haven't subscribed yet, and if you want to see more videos like this in the future, do make sure you subscribe. Also, if you think somebody might find this video useful, if they are looking for work in Italy or if they're looking to move to Italy, then do share the video out. Grazie mille per l'attenzione. Ci vediamo alla prossima. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your time. Good luck job hunting, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.